Hey guys, it's Jessica and I am going to share a couple of tips and tricks with you guys today on how you can make craft shows a little bit easier for you if you're looking at setting up or starting to do craft shows in the near future. Stick around for some tips and tricks, things that I've learned. Hopefully you'll learn something too. Okay, so the number one suggestion that I have for craft shows is be prepared. So when I first started doing craft shows, I did not make enough inventory, and it's not that the stuff that I made wasn't good, it's just that people don't go to tables as frequently if there's not that much to look at. For whatever reason, a full booth, not cluttered, like not like crazy overwhelming and stuffed, but a full booth that looks like you have a lot of products is way more attractive to potential buyers than like one table with a few things on it. So when I first started doing my craft shows, I really realized that I needed more inventory. I needed to make more cards and more variety. I tended to kind of go for like the same general style for all of my cards, and I didn't really branch out a whole lot from that. So I've definitely learned that you need more. You need some birthday cards, some thank you cards, like just a huge variety of stuff to choose from so that no matter who comes in, you hopefully have the right thing for them in whatever they're looking for. And a lot of times with craft shows, people don't know what they're looking for until they get there. So just keep that in mind, that like you want to have something in your booth that is going to make them buy when they weren't coming to the show to look for that. Like most people are not going to go to a craft show looking for greeting cards. They're not like, oh, let me go get in the car and go to this craft show because I need a thank you card. Usually people are going to go to like Walmart or Target or the dollar store or something like that to pick up a greeting card. That's a topic for a whole another video that I can do at a later time. But for today, we will just stick to the craft show stuff. So a lot of people ask how to price cards, like what price should I offer my things at so that people will buy them? And it's a tricky question because if you price them too low, people think that the quality is not good enough and they're not going to buy it, because like they could spend that money at whatever store they normally get their card at and not branch out or take a risk. If you price them too high, people are not going to buy them either, because they are going to be like, heck no, I'm not paying $12 for a card, which is funny because they will pay $12 at Hallmark or Papyrus or whatever other store. I don't know. But handmade cards are hard to sell. So I'm just going to tell you up front, it's hard to sell greeting cards and paper products in general at a craft show. People just don't value the amount of time and effort that goes into creating the paper projects that we make. They don't realize that some of these cards take more than an hour to make, and they're like mad that it costs $5. I don't know. Some people are just not willing to pay it, and I'm going to tell you that those people are not your customers. You are looking for a customer who appreciates handmade stuff and is willing to pay the extra amount because it's handmade and because they know that it took the extra time, the extra effort, and all of that for you to make it and for it to be there for them to buy. So pricing. My cards are generally $6 a piece. I don't offer discounts for multiple cards because those cards took me just as long to make. It didn't take less time just because you order more of them. So my cards are $6 usually, and that's kind of my starting point. If I put way more effort into it, I will charge more. Sometimes I charge $7.50 for cards that took a long time for me to make. And I'm okay with that. If someone wants it and they I mean, they'll buy it. I've sold a lot of cards for $7.50. I think that's the highest I've sold, maybe $7.75. For custom orders, it's different. For custom orders, I definitely charge more, but for regular cards that I just make, I usually $6, but sometimes more than that. Now I also do charge less than that sometimes. So if it's a really simple card, like one layer, and it didn't take me very long to make it, then I might go down to $5.50 or $5, just depending on how intricate it was, how long it took, how difficult it was to make. And that's that. So the thing that they tell you is that you should price your cards in order to pay yourself for the time it took you to make it, the materials, the time that you're selling at the craft show, the time it took you to like load and unload and market and advertise, like all of that should be built into your price. And sometimes it's not feasible, which is okay. A lot of us do this for a hobby. It's not really a job. So like any money is great because it kind of helps us like feed our habit and keep being able to buy more craft supplies. So, you know, it's not the end of the world if you don't like make all of your money back, but if you want to do it as a business and like really focus on your product and your business and your brand and making money, then you want to make sure you build all of that into your cost. Yeah. So that's kind of pricing. The thing that I would really recommend doing is make sure that you put a price sticker on every single item. It doesn't have to be on the front, it can be on the back. Most people will come and pick up an item and immediately flip it over to see what the price is. If it's not labeled, they're not gonna buy it. In 9 out of 10 cases, people who are like looking to find the price, if they don't find one, they're not going to ask you because they don't want to be embarrassed if they can't afford it, or like it's just awkward. Like, hey, how much is this thing? And then you tell them the price and then they put it back. It's just really awkward. It's not a comfortable situation to be in. People don't like it. So put a price sticker on everything. I would also recommend making sure that your price stickers match. Like all of your price stickers are the same color. They're all in the same theme, I guess I would say. At my craft show that I just did this weekend, I kind of broke my own rule because I ran out of the price tag stickers that I normally use. Whoops. So I really was unhappy with the way that it looked, but oh well. Price tags, yes, price tags. Okay. The other thing is display. So the way you present your booth is super, super important. If your booth is empty or too cluttered or too boring or too loud, people are going to walk right past and they're not going to stop and check out what you have. So you want to make sure that you present your products in a way that is eye-catching and makes people want to come in and see what you have. What I do is I use a tablecloth that my mom made. It's actually hers, I'm just borrowing it. But she made this awesome tablecloth that fits a 6-foot folding table, one of those plastic ones that just like folds up. You get them at Walmart for like 35 bucks or something. It fits the table perfectly. It's made out of black and white gingham, like check fabric that I think she said was like originally for curtains. And she made this awesome design where like the fabric snaps together at the different corners, and it just like goes together so easily so that it covers the whole table. It hangs down really nicely, and you don't have to worry about like the legs of the table showing or the stuff underneath the table showing. That's another thing that I'll talk about in a second. So you want to make sure that you have a table covering that can be like just fabric and can be a special tablecloth. They sell ones that are fitted, but just something so that you're not using just like a plain tablecloth. I mean a plain table that's not covered. It doesn't look good. So even if you have to use like a flat sheet or something, do that instead of having a bare table. The other thing is, and this varies depending on like what kind of craft show you're doing, because sometimes you only get a table, sometimes you have a whole booth. You know, you kind of have to go with whatever kind of craft show you're doing. But make sure that your display is varied. So you don't want everything all at one level. You want to have some varying height and just some points of interest to kind of draw people's eyes naturally and to keep them kind of like flowing through your booth. You don't want them to like look, sweep their eyes across the table one time and be like, okay, see ya. You want to keep them engaged. So what I do is I use my table, like I mentioned. I put my tablecloth on it, and then I use things to give myself different dimensions. So I use some boxes that I cover with fabric. My husband actually made this little desk for our son, and I actually used that at this most recent craft show, and it worked perfectly to put my tumblers and wine glasses on, so that was really cool. And I just covered it with fabric, so you'd never know what it was. It just looks like a cool tiered stand or whatever. So get creative, use whatever you have. Make sure it's sturdy so that it doesn't like fall over when the wind blows or something. But yeah, just get creative and use multiple tiers so that people kind of keep some interest as they go through your booth. And then make it look cute. So whatever you can do to dress up the booth with decorations or, I mean, whatever you have, I don't know. It kind of depends on what you're selling and like your style. Like my style is kind of whimsical and like I have a lot of cards that have puns and just like really silly sayings. And I kind of follow that theme. So my business name is obviously A Card Day's Work. So it starts there with my banner. And, you know, I have cards that say like, soy happy for you, and I don't know, just like a million puns. So I kind of keep that going with my theme. What I do is well, my husband is a lifesaver, and he actually made me my card stands that I use. And he custom fit them so that they fit the cards that I sell, which are A2 size, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And all of my cards fit on those stands perfectly. So it's really super convenient to just pop the stands up and be able to put all my cards on them. And then on the table, I can focus more on like the random other items like wine bottle tags, decorative clothespins, the tumblers and the wine glasses, gift card holders, things like that. That don't really take up the space on the table as well. So yeah, I'll show you guys a walkthrough of what my booth looked like at this most recent craft show, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I am talking about with the different levels and the card stands that my husband made. The other thing, if you're going to make your own card stands, what I would recommend is, we learned this the hard way, make sure that you put some sort of string or something in front of your cards. We used like that stretchy clear beading string or whatever, and just like stapled it to the inside of the card or the card stands, because if you're doing an outdoor show, the wind blows. And one time I was doing an outdoor craft show and all my cards went flying down the street. Like legit flying down the street, like they were gone. We had to go like running after them and they just kept blowing over and falling off and it was miserable. And I was so worried about my cards getting like destroyed, even though they were in their plastic covering. It was too much. It was too stressful. So from that day on, we got the clear, like stretchy cord and put it in front so that it's not really, it doesn't take away from the cards, but it keeps them in if the wind blows. Yeah, it just makes it so they don't fall over, which is always good. What else? Okay, so on the theme of being prepared, bring like everything that you could think of that you might need. I generally bring a box full of junk that I might need in the event of an emergency, or like taking, like if my stuff is falling down, or I don't know. I bring duct tape, I bring scissors, I bring string, I bring washi tape, I bring like a Sharpie, just like a box of random stuff, so that I'm prepared, hopefully, if anything goes wrong. I've had a lot of times when like I needed to retie something up, or I needed something like duct tape or whatever to make my display work. And that has been a lifesaver. The other thing is I would recommend bringing things that you might need personally for the day, like ibuprofen and any medicines or things that you might need for the day, so that you're well stocked and okay, because sometimes you don't get to sit down for the entire time, and your legs will hurt, and having that ibuprofen or whatever is really useful so that you're not miserable the whole time. The thing that I did this time that really helped me was I actually packed a cooler. So I stopped beforehand and I got just a small cooler and put some ice in it with some drinks and lots of water. It was really, really hot at this last craft show that I did. I think it was like in the 90s, and it was at a brewery. It was under a tent, but it kind of kept the heat in a little bit. So, it was really hot. So I was really thankful to have had that cooler that I just slid right under my table so no one could see it, but I still had access to my drinks and everything when I needed them. So we talked about medicine, like random junk box, inventory. I would definitely recommend, if you're selling greeting cards, that you invest in some clear plastic sleeves to store your cards in. And this is good for if you're just storing them at home, or if you are taking them to craft shows, especially if you're taking them to craft shows. The thing is that at craft shows, people touch your cards. They like pick them up and look at them, and their hands are not always clean, which is fine. But having that protective sleeve is going to save your cards from getting destroyed. And also, people sometimes drop them on the floor. So I would just recommend having that protective sleeve. You can order them online, like a billion different places. Amazon has them. That's where I order mine from. And they're super cheap. They're not expensive at all. And when I sell all my cards on Etsy, I still put them in the plastic sleeves. When I sell them, or like when I finish making it, I just put it right into the sleeve, and that's how I store it to keep it from getting dusty or dirty or bent or whatever. I put the envelope in there and I just like set it and forget it. It's in there, that's it. But yeah, I would also make sure that you have business cards. So get a cute business card made on Vistaprint, or make your own. I mean, you're crafty people, I don't know. I usually order mine just because it's like more convenient, but yeah, get business cards, because you want to make sure that people remember who you are, how to find you. If you sell on Etsy or another platform, you want to make sure that you are directing them to a place where they can interact with you, whether it's social media or to purchase something in your store, because you want that traffic to come back to you. I would also recommend putting business cards in any bags that you give out, just so that when they get home, they like have forgotten what your business name was. They're not going to remember like anything about you except that they bought this really cute card. So put a business card in there and have them take it home, just so that they have it. And when people ask like, oh my gosh, this card's so cute, where'd you get it? They can pull out that business card and say, here's the website. And hopefully direct some traffic back to you. All right, so here is a quick walkthrough of my craft show setup for this past weekend when I did my craft show. So this stand is hinged. My husband made this for me, and it's got all of my cards, well, some of my cards on it. And you can see that they display really nicely in their clear plastic sleeves. I went ahead and put the price right on the front, and I try to vary some horizontal, some vertical cards just for some variation so they're not all clumped together if I can help it. I've got my business cards on the table up front, and there's my banner that I ordered from Vistaprint. There I have another card stand, so I've got a few more cards featured on my table. I have my wine tags on the table and on the bottles for display. I've got some little bins there with some gift card holders in them, and I have signs telling people what the price is for the wine tags and the gift card holders. Here I have a new to me item, which I showed in my last video, which is tumblers and stemless wine glasses that I put vinyl decor on. Then I had some off-season items, so I kept those in boxes that people could flip through if they wanted to. And here is another card rack, which has mostly local themed items on it. And then here is just a very, very quick look at kind of the surroundings. Like I said, this was at a brewery, so that's that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm running out of light, so I'm gonna cut this short. But if there are things that you guys want to know about craft shows or about like how to get prepared, what kind of things to do, I don't know, ask me in the comments. Maybe I can do a follow-up video with more information or more in-depth answers to your questions. So just let me know. And I know this video has been kind of weird because usually all you see is my hands. So give me some feedback on that down below too. Is it weird? Do you want to see more videos like this where I kind of talk about the craft industry and my experiences? Would you rather I stick to just card making videos? Or what? If you guys tell me what you want, then I can kind of cater my channel to fit your guys' needs or your wants. And I can make videos that you guys are going to love. So just let me know. Leave me a comment, and I will see you guys again real soon.